having our global steering board here and also having the honor to have our co-chairs, Laura Tuck and Paul Bulke, as our Governing Council co-chairs, was an enormous opportunity for them to kind of feel firsthand what a multi-stakeholder platform is all about in terms of bringing government, private sector, and civil society. It's one thing to see it on paper, and it's another thing to see it actually in action and to see the dialogue and the trust and the confidence that's been built across all the set of stakeholders.
The main desire that I had in coming to the meeting was to get a better feel for how WRG works at the country level, and get a better feel for the individuals involved in the local multi-stakeholder platform, what value they see out of WRG, and what result we've been able to accomplish, or they have been able to accomplish here in Peru.
2030 Water Resources Group is a classic example of amazing systems leadership, where you have your government ministers, your corporate leaders, academic leaders, civil society, environmental leaders, each both playing their own role but being adaptive to each other's interests and priorities, understanding the broader context.
There's a very interesting feature of the work being delivered by the Water Resources Group, which has a lot to do with the fact that you aim at a very sophisticated approach to water governance, which is not just about transparency, integrity, accountability, and meaningful stakeholder experience. It's not just about getting things right in terms of the institutional setup, but it's very much about juggling all balls at once.
It's fantastic to go and see actually how does this come to life in a country? How is this actually put into practice? How can you actually learn what policy changes mean concretely? What are the interventions that are being put in place? What are the effects you can create, be it through the work through taxes, or be it through blue certificates, or be it through the tariffs, groundwater tariffs, which are really leading and a good example that we can export.
Since WRG started working in Peru, there have been 3 environment ministers, and they've all been intimately involved. So even with government change, the value of the platform has been so clear that it's retained that level of government and ministerial involvement.
Whether you're a food company or beverage company or brewery, you actually share the same vision and you try to create the same constructive solutions in getting there.
Because of climate change, we know other societies are going to face water stress pretty soon, and focus on those 20, 30, 50 places. And given where we are, it's hard to maintain 15 MSPs. We need to find ways of growing, escalating, without all the associated infrastructure costs.
I think steering board members have had the opportunity to see field operation, what we have done at the country level. And I think the results are positive. They have been able to capture the spirit of an MSP, the spirit that can be replicated in other countries.
There's no doubt, we have a very serious challenge ahead of us, both in meeting the SDGs and the climate Paris commitments. And I think the only way we're going to do it is, recognizing that we do need these different sectors working together, but it's extremely difficult to make that happen. And so it requires, I think, a totally different type of leadership where people have technical expertise, they have management expertise, they understand their domain and their responsibility, but they have a whole lot of soft skills around systems leadership, stakeholder engagement, coalition building.
You need passionate people who can look beyond their differences and build trust, even amongst somewhat very different sectors and theme areas.
For me, I think really what we need in the next 10 years is an acceleration of this kind of collective action, multi-stakeholder approach to really drive for changes in especially policies. There can be really strong projects and initiatives, but where we need to make that big push is policy, where we can unlock the blockages that allow us to promote things like better value chain sustainability, more circular economy approaches, and resiliency built into all of our water resource management.
There's something going on, something has started off here in Peru that I think is unstoppable.